and welcome. I'm Jennifer, and I work at the Mountain Island Public Library. I am so excited about today. I have two stories for you today from the Middle East. And the first story that I'm going to tell you about is the farmer's wife. And so it is titled The Farmer's Wife, and it goes like this. A long time ago, there was a farmer and his wife, and together the two had an apple orchard. And the wife would go out every day and pick apples from the trees. Oh, they were delicious and red and beautiful. Well, oftentimes she would pick one and it would drop on the ground. But one day, when she picked the apple, it went down a hole in the ground and she couldn't reach it. Well, she looked around trying to find some help to get that apple. And then she saw a bird in the tree. And so she told the bird, "Bird, go down that hole and get that apple for me." Well, the bird said, "Tweet, tweet," like all birds do. But that tweet, tweet meant no. She was not going to go down that hole and get the apple. And so the wife said, "What a naughty bird." And she began to look again for someone to help her. And then she spotted a cat. And she said to the cat, "Cat, go bounce and jump at that bird so that he flies down into the hole and brings back the apple for me." And the cat said, "Meow," which really meant no. "Oh, what a naughty cat," said the woman. And so she looked around again until she saw a dog. Yeah, he can help me. And so she said, "Dog, come over here and chase after the cat. So the cat will jump at the bird so that the bird will fly down into the hole and bring back that apple for me." And the dog said, which really meant no. "What a naughty dog," said the woman. And so she looked around again, and then she spotted a bee. Ah, that bee'll help me. "Bee, bee, come on over here and sting that dog until the dog chases after the cat so that the cat will pounce and jump on the bird so that the bird will fly down into the hole to get the apple for me." Well, the bee said, "You got it," which really meant no. And so once again, the farmer's wife was looking around again for some help, and then saw the beekeeper. And she said to him, "Beekeeper, I want you to tell that bee to sting the dog so that the dog will chase after the cat and the cat will jump on the bird so that the bird will fly down into the hole and bring back that apple for me." Well, the beekeeper said, no, I'm not going to do it, which meant no. And so once again, the farmer's wife had to look around to find some help. And she finally saw a rope on the ground. I know. She went up to the rope and she said, "Rope, I want you to tie up the beekeeper so that he will tell that bee to go sting the dog, so that the dog will chase the cat, and the cat will jump on the bird so that he'll fly down and get that apple for me." Well, what did the rope say? Nothing, because ropes don't talk. Well, the woman said, "What a naughty rope," and went on to find some help. And then she spotted a fire. Fire! I want you to go burn that little rope just a little bit to get him to tie up the beekeeper so that he's going to go over to the bee and tell him, "Bee, you need to go ahead and sting that dog so that the dog will chase after the cat, and the cat will jump onto the bird, and the bird will fly down into the hole and get that apple for me." Well, you know what that fire said? Didn't say anything. Fires don't talk. But then, not far from that fire, she saw some water in a pond. And so she said to the pond, "Pond, I want you to sprinkle some water on the fire so that the fire will kind of burn the rope just a little bit, enough so that the rope will tie up the beekeeper so that he will go over to the bee and tell him to sting the dog, and the dog will chase after the cat, who will jump on the bird so he'll fly down in the hole and bring back that apple to me." And the water said nothing, because water doesn't talk. Well, then she looked around again, and finally she saw a cow. And she said to the cow, "Cow, I want you to lick up that water. And so the water, when you lick it up, will be mad and will go over to the flame and sprinkle a little water on the flame, who's going to burn that rope just a little bit so the rope will get upset and tie the beekeeper up so that he will go over to the bee to tell him to sting that dog, who will chase after the cat, who will jump on the bird, who's going to fly down the hole and get the apple and bring it back." Well, the cow said, "Moo!" Right, as cows do. But his moo meant, not going to do it. Exhausted, the woman finally saw the bird again and said to the bird, "Look, bird, all I want you to do is kind of, just peck, peck, peck at the cow." "All right," the bird said, "I will peck at the cow, just as long as you don't tell me to go down that hole and get that apple for you." So the bird went over to the cow and peck, 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 and that cow went over to the water and licked up some water, making the water sprinkle some on the flames of the fire, who singed the rope just a little bit, who decided to tie up the beekeeper, who said to the bee, I want you to sting that dog over there. And he did. And when he did, the dog chased after the cat. And the cat jumped at the bird, and the bird felt a wind go by. And the wind was strong, and the wind went down into the hole and brought back up that apple. Well, the woman had her apple. Everybody was happy. And they all lived happily ever after. That was a good story. And there is another story that is from the Middle East. And this one is called How Many Donkeys? It's an Arabic counting tale. You know, in the Middle East, it's very hot. And it's very dry. And they need to drink lots of water. So it's hot and it's dry and they need some water. So this story is about a man named Juha. And Juha was a little bit, foolish sometimes. And but he also could be wise. He had his days, you know. And so one day he was getting ready to go to the market because at the market he was going to sell his dates. They were delicious and everybody loved to have some dates with a good meal. And so he was packing up the donkeys with the dates and he thought, you know what, I really should count these donkeys just to make sure I keep up with them on his journey. So he said, son, could you count the donkeys for me? And so he did. And the son started counting. واحد, اثنان, ثلاثة, أربعة, خمسة, ستة, سبعة, ثمانية, تسعة, عشرة. Oh yeah, there's 10, Baba. You're all set to go. Have a good trip. Okay, so Juha set off with his 10 donkeys and he went down the sand hills and the valleys on this hot and dry day and was enjoying his trip. He felt like he was such a lucky man because he had 10 donkeys and dates to sell at the market. And then he thought, you know what? It's a long trip. I just want to make sure everybody's here. And so he turns around and he counts again. واحد, اثنان, ثلاثة, all the way down, and he gets to Tisa. What? Tisa? There's only 9. Where did the other donkey go? He looked all around and he couldn't find him. Oh. And then one of his helpers says, you know what? Why don't you get off and count them? Back up just a little bit and count them. And so he did. Juha, he counted again. Oh, 10. Yes. Oh, thank goodness. They're all here. And got back up on his donkey and off he goes. Well, he saw up ahead there was some water and he stopped to rest. Whew, still on his donkey. He counts to make sure he had them all there. And he counts again and still comes up with only 9. Well, you know, let me get off. And so he counts again. There, all there. He walked back and forth a little bit while they got some water. And he thought, you know, I'm such a lucky man. And so they rested for a while. And he got back on his donkey and he was off to the market again. And right before he got to the mark, he says, it's better to count one more time. And so he turns around once more. Wahed, Itnan, Talata, Arba, Kamsa, Sita, Salah, Tamania, Tisa, Asha. Oh, wait a minute. Where is the 10th? It's not there. Oh, man. And then once again, his comrade says, why don't you get off and count? And when he does, amazingly, all 10 are there. And he's so close to the market. When he gets to the market, he sells his dates, thinking, what a lucky man I am, and starts back to go home on his journey. And as he is about to get on his donkey to go home, he thought about his day and how every time he was on his donkey riding, he somehow, amazingly, one of the donkeys just disappeared. But when he was walking, when he was on the land, all donkeys, all 10 were there. And he thought to himself, you know what? I think it is far better to walk on this journey than to lose a donkey. Well, I hope you enjoyed those two stories from the Middle East. And I hope you enjoyed all of the stories today. I want to tell you that we have got a summer break coming up. And you can register for that summer break as early as the end of this month. But you can find out more about it, get the dates for it. It goes on June, July, and into August a little bit. Find out about it on our website. We're Charlotte Mecklenburg Library, cmlibrary.org. And I hope that you participate, sign up for that. Thank you so much for listening to my stories today.